Papa?
Over here.
What are you doing?
This is where she sat.
This is morbid, Papa.
Her last day at the Dials. The other girls threw her a party. 30, 40 girls on the floor. And me. Watching over them.
We shouldn't be in here. This building's been condemned.
That problem with the brushes, that wasn't my invention. It was von Schosky's process. It was his invention.
That was years ago, Papa.
People blame me for that. But I wasn't the technical man. I had my shareholders to think about.
Yes, hi, how are you?
It's time for everyone.
Oh my goodness, how are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, today we stand on the threshold of a new era, an era of ingenuity, an era of possibility, marked by the marriage of commerce and science. Radium, my friend, is the fruit of this marriage. And like the automobile before it, like the telegram, and like the telegraph, this element began as a novelty and is now a necessity of life. Luminous watches, luminous dials, these were the agents of victory in Europe. Now radium will be the agent of a new victory, the victory over cancer.
Arthur, what a day.
What did I tell you, Dan? They love us.
Did you see Von Sasaki? White as a sheet. He's here. Back of the hall. I'm surprised he had the nerve.
Oh, hold on, gentlemen. Miss Wiley, what a nice surprise. Charlie, Dan, you remember Miss Wiley from the Consumers League.
Gentlemen.
Miss Wiley was essential in last year's laundry crisis.
Miss Wiley, no more complaints, I hope, from the housewives in Orange.
The laundry is fine. Thank you, Dr. Lehman.
Ought to be. We spent a lot of money on those filters.
Yes, the fact is I'm here on that other matter.
Your letter. This is not the best time, Miss Wiley.
Yes, well, I was hoping you'd answer the immediate
I'll
question.
answer it. There's no white phosphorus in the paint, Mrs. Wiley.
But the young girl's condition.
There is no white phosphorus anywhere on the property.
Then how do you explain the bone decay in her jaw?
This is one of our girls we're talking about?
No, former employee. She left us 2 years ago.
Why not just speak to her current employer then?
Well, she's not working currently. She's too ill.
We're sorry, Miss Wiley, but rest assured we're taking every precaution necessary.
We're consulting with the Harvard School of Industrial Medicine.
You mean Dr. Drinker?
You know him.
Fairly well. The head of our league is a colleague of his.
Well, then we can agree. Whatever Dr. Drinker concludes, you'll be satisfied?
I suppose so, thank you.
Have some cake, Miss Wiley.
Whatever the trouble is, can't be anything at the plant.
We'll figure it out. For now, just keep smiling, Charlie.
You should have seen it, Grace. The church was filled with flowers, just like lilies and carnations and orchids. You know how Amelia loved orchids.
Those are flags.
Orchids.
Flags.
I know an orchid when I see one, Irene. Purple orchids. And that smell, Grace, that smell, it was like
flowers?
Like heaven. I was gonna say like heaven.
Like heaven? Catherine, it was a funeral. You make it out to be like it was some kind of Valentino picture.
It wasn't just a funeral, it was Amelia's. And it was beautiful. I mean, the church was like a botanical garden. Oh, and the company sent flowers too, just like a big spray of carnations.
Sounds like a nice service anyhow.
Surprised you wasn't there, Grace. What happened? Tom kept you out late to the pictures.
Wasn't near that exciting. Ma had work to do, so I took the kids to the park.
Girls, the whistle's already gone. Now then, I received new instructions. We're going back to the old way of pointing brushes. We was losing too much paint in the cloth.
But
Yes, Grace? Something you wish to say?
Dr. Von Sashaki told me not to do that. Says it's unsanitary.
Unsanitary? I can hardly believe he'd say such a thing. The man invented the paint. Each girl's to get her own brush, and you're not to get a new one till the old is so bad you can't make a point no more.
how can you make a quota like that?
It's not for us to be asking questions, is it, girls? It's for us to be doing the work.
It's not for us to be asking questions, girls. It's for us to do the work.
Here's an instruction for you, McNeil. Put some starch out of your corset.
Was she at the service?
McNeil, are you kidding?
Dr. Von Shashaki was, though, and Mr. Reader. Oh, and Grace, that fella from Crystallizing. What's his name? The one with the red hair.
The tall one with the freckles.
Yeah.
Jerry.
I think it's George.
It's Jerry. Jerry Mallon. He was the one always talking to Amelia in the day room.
Grace. When the mass was over, he went to the coffin, and he goes like this. He goes, really?
So what if he did?
So what? He was in love with her. That's so what. Don't you think so, Grace?
I guess he had to be if he did that.
And can you imagine? I mean, if he loved her and he could never bring himself to save because Because he was so shy, and she was so beautiful, and now it's too late, and he's never gonna get that chance again.
Poor Amelia.
Poor Amelia.
Poor kid.
Her family took it awful bad too, Grace. Every one of them crying. Even her dad just bawling like a baby.
And you know why?
Because their daughter had died.
What she died from.
Don't go spreading stories.
Not a story. Her sister told us. No reason Grace shouldn't know.
No, what? What?
Amelia?
Her father's fit to be tied too. 6 girls at home and none of them ever going to dance again. All because Amelia up and died from syphilis. Shh. What? I can't help if that's what she died from.
But Amelia was ever so nice.
Guess she got around more than we knew.
Girls, your attention, please. The gentlemen are here to make an announcement.
And to announce some changes, yes?
Yes, as you all know, Dr. Machowski is stepping down as company president. And he'd like to take this opportunity to
Make fifth goodbye, ladies. Some of you I have known since of all, coming here day after day, painting 300, 400, 500 dials a day.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Now, girls, Dr. Machowski is a very busy man and he must be on his way. So let us wish him the best in his next business ventures.
Thank you all. And, Mr. Rita, let us good luck wish to you as well with the new direction you intend to take this company,
New direction?
with the slowdown of dial painting
Now, Doctor,
and business moving to the medical market. There will be changes, yes?
well, what the doctor is referring to, some of our larger customers have created their own down painting studios.
Which means less work for our girls here.
In the meantime, however, the Waterbury Clockwork Company needs some help with this new studio. We have planned to make the announcement next week. I suppose we'll make it now. Ms. McNeil?
Yes, we'll be asking some of you girls to help us on up. Louise Condon was on, and Catherine Schwab. I have a list downstairs.
Yes, we'll post it later today. Now, girls, as we're all on the clock, we'll leave you to your work.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you all. My best of wishes to you.
And that's back to work with you girls.
You gonna do it, Catherine? You gonna take the job?
I will if you do.
Tommy would have a fit.
Oh, come on, Grace. It's just for a month. It will be fun, won't it, Irene? Irene!
Irene, honey, are you all right?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be? What?
Your mouth is bleeding.
Don't bring a frown to old Broadway. You've got to clown on Broadway. Your troubles there are out of style.
$35 a week and she quits the place.
Hey, it's more to life than money.
Wait till you get to be my age. With a house full of kids, you'll thank God for every penny you put by.
Well, we got money put by.
How much?
Enough to get married on.
Don't take much to get married on. Do you have enough to stay married on?
You let us get married, we'll find out.
You still eating, Tommy?
Yeah, it's good.
You're gonna get fat.
He's got to keep up his strength. He works hard for his money.
Don't start, Ma.
Wasn't me. Was your father hit the roof over it? Most girls would give their eye teeth for a job like that.
Ma.
Good money, easy work, lots of nice-looking fellas around the plant.
Oh, you didn't tell me about them, Grace.
And she ups and quits the place. I'm tired of it, she says. Are you tired of a paycheck, I says? Who needs a paycheck? I got a boyfriend to take me out on Saturdays.
She said that?
Oh, you know I didn't. And for your information, I got a job. I started the bank on Monday.
And what's it pay?
Enough.
Enough. You know what that means, Tom? It don't come close to what they paid at the Radium plant.
It's office work.
Office work. Well, I guess that means they'll be spending more money on clothes.
Boy, she sure steamed at you.
I don't see what difference it makes, so long as I'm working somewhere.
Makes no difference to me. I thought you liked working at the Radium plant.
Sure, I liked it, but I've been up there 4 years.
So? I've been delivering mail 8 years, and I plan to keep on delivering mail another 20 to 30 years. If I'm lucky, Grace. Steady work. Helps you sleep at night.
Close your eyes.
What for?
I got a surprise for you.
Oh, made a cake.
Not that kind of surprise. Close your eyes. Now look,
It's wallpaper.
for the baby's room.
Baby's room? You won't kiss me and you're talking about having babies already?
There's gonna be babies eventually, Tommy.
Yeah, but you know, Grace, most girls tend to get married before they decorate the nursery.
Plan ahead for once. Pick one.
They're both the same.
No, they're not. This one has little flowers, and this one has big ones. So, pick one.
Is this some kind of test?
It's just wallpaper.
It is some kind of test.
Pick one, Tommy.
That one.
Really?
The other one then.
Which one do you like, though?
They both look nice.
This one's pretty.
So
don't
then
you think?
that one.
But I want you to like it too.
If you like it, I like it. Wallpaper is wallpaper.
No, it isn't. You gotta pick something you could stand to look at for 40 years.
Same way you pick women.
Keep it up, smarty pants, and you will never get that kiss.
Wait. Here it is. This is the one hand stamp.
I like it too. A nice neutral yellow goes to the boy or a girl. And until the baby comes, we can use the room for other things.
Oh yeah, like what?
Like a painting studio, maybe?
A painting studio, maybe. Didn't you get enough painting at the Radium plant?
Not the kind I wanted to, Tommy. I just want some time. Just a little time to myself. So I can try watercolors or oils, maybe. Maybe portraits in oil. I could paint your picture if you like.
Yeah, why not? Let's paint a big picture of me, and we'll hang it in the house so all our friends will come around and look at it.
Oh, the way you talk sometimes.
Ah, Grace. If you want to paint pictures, paint pictures. I ain't gonna stop.
You may say that now, Tommy, but wait till you come home some night. All worn out. Some Christmas maybe, when every customer on your route had 3 times the mail, and maybe some dog took after you, and some old lady kept you waiting on her stoop, talking all about her grandchildren, and you wouldn't have the heart to tell her you can't talk. I know you. So you come home late and cranky, besides hungry wanting your dinner, and there I am, with my easel set up in the kitchen and my drop cloth on the floor, my paints all over the table, and your dinner nowhere in sight. What would you say then?
Better be a picture of me and your painting.
I know what you'd say. Where's my dinner? That's what you'd say. Where's my dinner?
I'd still admire the painting. Just want to do it on a full stomach is all. So, how'd I do? Pick the right wallpaper.
I don't know. Maybe I'll look at the stripes.
Stripes, polka dots, I don't care. Tell your mom we ain't waiting. We'll just run off.
Tommy, we are not running off. We're going to do this right. A nice church wedding with flowers and music. And then a week at the seashore. Just us. And after that, we'll get set up in our own place. You'll see. It'll be worth the wait. Dentist wants to pull another tooth in the back.
What's a tooth?
Harriet? Harriet! You get down from that tree at once!
I'm waiting for Papa.
Oh, when he gets here, I'll set him up for you.
Harriet,
I can see clear to the church.
do you see your grandfather?
You think this is funny?
She's 9 years old, Diane.
Well, I'm trying to raise a daughter, not a son.
Well, time is on your side. Eventually, she'll lose all interest in trees and, well, develop a fascination with boys.
What's this?
Something to give you vitality.
You think I need vitality?
That's what it says on the bottle.
Is it pure?
You want to try it?
If you'll give me vitality, how could I refuse? Your father came by to see me today.
Another hard luck case?
4 children at home, all under the age of 6.
Let me guess. Unemployed from the brickyard?
How'd you know?
He came by to see me yesterday. It's never enough with that man. He always has to have a mission in life.
Oh, and you do?
Well, I can't hand out jobs that don't exist.
What about Dan Lehman?
Dan?
He could use some assistance in the lab.
No, Dan needs trained technicians, not some bricklayer.
Well, there must be something you can do.
I mean, I could write him a check.
Artie, the man needs a job, not charity. What is it your father says? A working man wears on his soul
And wears on his soul not to work. All right, if it's a matter of the soul, that's different. I'll talk to Dan.
You're a good man, Artie.
You do love being married to the company president.
It has its advantages.
I make no promises, Diane.
No promises.
To your health.
Old Broadway, you've got to clown on Broadway. Your troubles there are out of style for Broadway. Always wears a smile. A million lights they flicker there. A million hearts beat quicker there. No skies of gray on the great white way. That's the Broadway melody.
I'm sorry. I can't find anything under Schwab.
It's Rudolph.
Rudolph?
The girl I'm asking about, Irene Rudolph, she's my cousin.
Did she file the complaint?
No, the dentist.
Dr. Neff.
He said she might have phossy jaw like they have in those match factories, and he complained to the health department, but it's been 6 months and we still haven't heard.
Fossy jaw, you say?
Catherine, maybe it was like Irene's doctor said. Maybe it was a blood infection.
But what was it from?
From dirt? You get that stuff from dirt.
From dirt. Her face puffed up like a pumpkin. I mean, her jaw rotted so bad she couldn't even eat no more. You think you get that from dirt? You get it from phosphorus.
Phosphorus.
Yeah, go ahead and laugh. You won't laugh so hard when it's you in here 6 months from now asking about Grace.
It's just a toothache, Catherine.
That's how it started for Irene. You wait, Grace. Soon you'll be so weak and so sick you can't stand up. I mean, your gums will ache so bad you can't even open your mouth.
Stop it, Catherine.
Your face so swollen you can't even stand the sight of yourself.
I said stop it.
Yeah, toothache and a backache, and what else you said? A sore leg that won't quit?
What sore leg?
From my new job at the bank. From standing all day.
It's not from the bank, and you know it.
Yeah, tell me this.
Irene Rudolph?
Yes, that's her.
Nothing.
What?
The company is in full compliance with all state health and labor regulations. See for yourself.
Paint is a harmless compound of radium and zinc?
They also screened a number of the employees, and the blood work was all normal. There's a copy of the report right there. Harvard study.
Okay, let's go get some lunch.
I want to file another complaint.
Oh, brother.
Catherine, these folks, they're awful busy here.
3 surgeries, Grace, and they wanted to cut her again. She said no, she knew. What was left of her jaw rotted so bad that I couldn't even look at her. Irene was so afraid of being left alone, and I left her alone. She died in the middle of the night, and nobody was with her.
I'm sorry. Can we have another form, please?
Is the girl still sick?
She died.
Wait right here.
A million hearts beat quicker there. No skies of gray on the great white way. That's the Broadway melody.
Miss Fryer?
Dr. Flynn, it's awful nice of you to see me.
Oh, not at all, my dear, not at all.
I told the surgeon I was coming over here, so he gave me the results of my blood work.
Of course. I must say, Miss Fryer, your blood looks better than mine.
It does?
That's what happens to an old man who smokes. Now tell me, what else is troubling you?
My feet and my back mostly. I've had to wear a back brace for about 6 months now.
I see. And this left before you left the company or after?
It started after.
And you left the plant when?
2 years now. My dentist, Dr. Neff, he says this all has to do with the radium. I know another girl who died from it, Irene Rudolph.
Rudolph. Oh, yes. Horrible thing. Vincent's angina. That's an ulcerated condition of the mouth, my dear.
From the radium.
Oh, no, no, no. A very rare and unfortunate result of poor dental care.
There was something else in the papers about this. Other girls who got sick.
Miss Fryer, don't tell me pay any attention to the newspapers.
But I read.
Those writings are not scientific. You must listen to science and ignore the nonsense in the newspapers, because I can tell you right now that radium has nothing to do with what's ailing you.
Then what is ailing me?
Poor diet, Miss Fryer. What you have is a vitamin deficiency.
But Dr. Neff
You must
told...
eat more fresh fruit.
Hard to do in the winter.
Raw meat as well. It'll help with the anemia. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a scientist, Miss Fryer. By allowing me to examine you, you are helping me advance my studies. I thank you. Call me anytime, day or night.
All right, Dr. Flynn. Thank you. Dr. Frederick Flynn, PhD, Physiology, Columbia University. PhD? That's not a real doctor.
My findings, Mr. Reader.
He's seen half a dozen girls. I mean, the word I've heard is that he's working for the company.
And objective evaluation, I trust.
The source of my funding has no bearing on my research.
And I let the fella examine me.
It wasn't a medical examination. No. I merely consulted with her.
Well, how are you doing on the rest of the report?
The result from my animal studies revealed no adverse infections from the radium. The result, as you assumed, is one of personal hygiene.
It's exactly the way you said, Catherine. Those people will say anything, they'll do anything.
Except the right thing.
Well, we're gonna make them. We're gonna make sure someone hears about this.
My statement of fees and expenses.
Mr. Lee will write you a check.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have to accept injustice. We could use our powers as a consumer to influence those who wish to profit from our patronage. Thank you.
Miss Wiley, I'm Grace Fryer. The health department said you might be able to help me.
Yes, Miss Fryer, please have a seat. I've been meaning to talk to you.
Me and my friend Catherine, we wrote to the company about our troubles, but we never heard back. So we went to see a couple lawyers.
But they all said it's too late.
Something about the law won't allow it.
Yes, the statute of limitations is 2 years.
And one lawyer, he wanted $1,000 up front. I already spent every penny I had saved on her wedding on dentists and doctors and hospitals, and I still don't know what's wrong exactly. And Tom here, he says he don't care.
We just need to settle her debts.
So we can get on with things.
So if we could get her some compensation.
Do you think we could?
Tell me, Miss Fryer, just how far are you willing to go with this?
Ma'am?
Suppose I do find a lawyer to take your case and they say, all right, here's some money, but you were to tell nobody that you've agreed to.
Confidential settlement.
That don't seem right.
It's not right. That's what they do. They try to buy your silence. Is it for sale?
No, ma'am.
Miss Fryer, if you'll be willing to put your own needs aside just for the moment, we could stop that company dead in its tracks.
How?
Hit them where it matters most, their public image. When every newspaper in America says how you were sorely treated, how you suffered, how the company denied all responsibility, believe me, Miss Fryer, Arthur Reader will come to the table with his hat in his hands.
And then I get my compensation.
I know it sounds a little frightening.
Yes, but right now I'm more angry than I am scared.
Good. You hold on to that anger. Just make sure that no one else sees it.
Ma'am?
Public sympathy, Miss Fryer. And the public doesn't have much sympathy for an angry woman.
Don't bring a frown to old Broadway. You've got to clown on Broadway. Your troubles there are out of style. For Broadway always wears a smile. A million lights they flicker there. A million hearts beat quicker there. No skies of gray on
December 4th, 1927. Jack Young reporting for the New York Ledger. Newark's first source for news.
Nancy Jane Harlan for the New York Graphic, the New York Graphic's only girl reporter,
On the strange case of the Radium girls.
who claimed they were poisoned at the hands of their employer.
Ask me, it's all a sham.
What do you mean? Those girls are very sick.
Sick of working? Sure.
Doctors say the Radium girls have only 1 year to live.
Only 1 year to live and 250 grand to spend.
What would you do with that kind of money?
What would you do with $250,000?
I'd buy a wardrobe like Irene Castle, and I'd give it all to charity.
I'd play the stock market.
I'd buy my wife a diamond the size of New Hampshire.
I'd use it to pay my medical bills and pay down the second mortgage on our house, the one my father took out to pay for my last operation.
Pretty Grace Fryer sits at home.
Suffering bravely through this entire ordeal.
It hurts to smile, but I try to smile. I know if I don't smile, I go crazy.
But it must get to you sometimes.
Knowing what you've been through, and the company getting fat off your labor,
and all they have to say about it is
No comment. I'd rather just think how it's gonna be when justice prevails.
What a fine example of womanhood. We can only aspire to bear our cross in life as nobly as this young girl.
You ready, Mr. Barry?
Yes, ma'am. What's the plan?
He should be here any second.
Mr. Barry, I've been in this game a long time, and I know when a lawyer makes his case in the newspapers, he doesn't have much of a case at all.
What's your proposal, Mr. Markley?
$1,500 each girl.
That's not even a year's wage.
We think it's very generous, considering your case won't survive the statute of limitations.
We believe that it does.
The court can't rewrite the law. 2 years from the date of injury? Your clients are out of time.
2 years from the date of injuries discovered.
Very creative, Mr. Barry. I admire your imagination, but you've got a long ways to go before you convince the judge.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Mr. Markley, the press will continue to make a great interest in our story, and the U.S. Radium corporations will make an indifference to its workers.
More good press for the Consumers League. And you accuse us of exploiting these girls.
The arrogance of that man.
Remind me again the point of all this, Miss Wiley.
Public sympathy, Mr. Barry. That's our entrance reform.
But how does this help the girls? And to see in different newspapers that they only have a year to live?
Mr. Barry, surely you could see this company cares nothing about the girls it poisons, but the average housewives care very much. These women shop, they buy watches. Markley could be as smug as he likes, but this campaign's working and he knows it. That's why he was here today.
I sure hope you're right, Miss Wiley.
Public sympathy, Mr. Barry. You wait and see.
Don't bring a frown to old Broadway. You've got to frown on
Dear Mrs. Schwab, I read of your sad story in the Boston Globe, and I am sorry for your plight. I would like to share with you the secrets to my own good health at the age of 92. It's called Christian Science.
Dear Mrs. Fryer, I read of your woeful situation in the Atlantic Constitution, and I have a solution for you. All natural venison, a wonder tonic made from all natural ingredients, and we would like to offer a lifetime use of this tonic for just one simple thing. Exclusive rights to use your likeness in all of our advertisements. Thank you.
Dear girl, I read about you in the Billings Gazette. I run 100 head of cattle upstate, and I do very well for myself. I have always longed for a companion, and I am well prepared to offer you a comfortable home in your final hours. Surely, you deserve a few fleeting hours of happiness. Sincerely, your admirer, Leonard F. Watkins. P.S. encloses my picture.
You all right, Catherine?
I'm bleeding again.
Maybe we should go. You need your sleep.
Afraid to sleep. I might not wake up.
Look at all this mail, Catherine. Miss Wiley said folks would be on her side, and she sure was right.
Grace, what if we don't win?
Of course we'll win.
I mean, what if we don't? I'll be on the street, and you and Tom, you'll never get married.
All we need to do is get on that stand. Just think about the look on Mr. Reader's face when the judge rules for us. I wonder what's taking Tommy so long.
I didn't have any vanilla, so I got chocolate.
Took you long enough.
Hey, don't get on me, all right? I had 6 reporters stop me on the way over here, and all of them asking after you.
They're waiting for me to die.
No one is waiting for you to die.
Yes, they are. One of them up and called my mother, asking if I had died. And he said, when she said no, he sounded disappointed.
Evening, girls. How about a picture?
Oh, for the love of Mike, what are y'all doing here?
We need some pictures for the graphics exclusive.
What exclusive?
$5,000 sound good to you? Perhaps you're familiar with Bernard McFadden.
Ooh, that faith healer?
Herbalist, Mr. Carter. Bernard McFadden's patented herbal therapy is just the thing you girls need to get back on your feet, and the graphic will pay for it. All we ask is exclusive rights to your story from here on out.
Grace, they're serious.
You want to pay us $5,000 to go see Bernard McFadden?
Easy money, huh?
Let me see.
The graphic always does business on the up and up.
Hey, Grace, what exactly does your father own the house?
I don't know exactly.
And that last hospital bill? A couple hundred at least.
At least.
And all we do is talk to your herbalist fella.
We'll have to get our money's worth. A series of features with pictures following the course of your treatment, illness, recovery, or otherwise.
And you print whatever you want.
Maybe we add some color. Everybody adds color.
Not interested.
Grace, if it came from the company, you take it.
Company owes us a lot more than that.
If we ever see it.
Why not talk to them reporters anyhow and get something out of it?
He's right, you know. You girls can cash big on this. Anybody can sympathize with the plight of a poor girl facing certain death with no hope and fulfillment in motherhood.
I'd like you to go now. My friend is tired. She needs her rest.
Grace, at least think about it.
Sure, I understand. You're worried what people will say. But hey, look out for number one, that's the way. Why keep your noses clean when everybody else is elbows deep in it?
Where's everybody else? Ah, there you are. Gentlemen, glad we're all here. I've treated a number of the girls who've claimed they got sick here. One of them, the jaws, is just rotted so bad, I was able to pull her right out. Right about here.
That's all right, Dr. Neff. You can put that away now.
Perhaps you'd rather look at the x-ray? Dr. Lehman? It was a very expensive case for me to treat. I never did get no compensation.
I sympathize, Dr. Neff, but what does this have to do with us?
Here it is straight. There's gonna be plenty of other girls claiming they got sick here. So, how about we play ball? You give me a list of all the girls who claim they got sick here, and I'll see to it there ain't no more lawsuits.
You think you could cure them?
Cure them? No. I'd put them on a favorable diagnosis, say Fioria or something of the like.
You'd persuade them not to sue?
Not exactly. Quite a few, they'll die off of natural causes, and the rest we put off till the statute of limitations kicks in.
And why would they come to you?
Anybody would if you don't charge them nothing.
Because we'd be paying you.
We understand each other, Mr. Rita.
What exactly are you asking, Dr. Neff?
$10,000. $2 for every visit, plus my expenses this fall.
Absolutely not. Your proposal's immoral. We want no part in it.
Immoral? You're a fine one to be talking about morals. When he got shown hired guns ready to testify.
Those are expert witnesses.
Paid lackeys is more like it.
Good day, Dr. Neff. Mr. Lee will see you to the door.
All right. You will play ball with me? Believe me, somebody else will. There's plenty of others wanting what I've got.
Charlie, Dan, I want you both to make statements about what happened today. We'll send them to the State Dental Society.
The Neff was who's playing ball and who isn't.
Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to shake this off.
What are you proposing?
Retain him as an expert. Like Flynn?
No, Frederick Flynn is an expert at Columbia University. Dr. Neff is just some neighborhood dentist.
He treated some of the girls.
He didn't treat them, he merely consulted with them.
He dispensed medical advice.
That wasn't medical advice, it was an educated opinion.
For which he was well paid. We do the same with Neff. We'll keep him quiet.
This is getting out of hand.
We can handle Neff.
Neff isn't the problem, it's Von Sasaki.
What about Von Sasaki?
He's gonna testify for the girls.
All right. Then whatever Barry's paying him, we just offer more.
You don't understand guilt, do you, Charlie? A guilty man has a tremendous need to unburden himself. What Von Sasaki needs is to be set free, so that he'll never testify against us, no matter what we offer.
Every penny. Every penny for the last 7 years I have sunk into this company. Why? Because of you, Arthur.
We were fooled, Charlie.
You said it was just their thing. Why work for Von Sasaki when we can work for ourselves? What happened to that?
Charlie, please. We were all fooled. All we can do now is clean up the mess the best we can.
Then you better hope this ends in civil court. Because if it comes to criminal charges, don't count on me.
Criminal charges? For what?
Oh, he didn't tell you? Drinker's report.
What about Drinker's report?
It's proprietary. We have no obligation to share it.
We did share it. With the Department of Labor.
You sent what they needed to see. Right, Arthur?
Arthur? My God.
Scientists, government men, they have no idea what it takes to run a business. Von Sasaki laughed at the very idea of a promotion. Now look at us. We are the largest supplier of radium in the world. The largest in the world. Do you know what it took for us to get here? Do you think I could just let him drag our good name through the mud?
But the Department of Labor, Arthur.
We just needed time, Dan.
They could shut us down for this.
Just a little bit of time to get it right.
You want time? Let's see what Markley has to say about this. It's new evidence, right? Surely he can do something with that.
X-ray? It's outrageous.
Mr. Barry!
How are we supposed to wait 3 months? The girls, they can hardly make it to court today. And Grace, what am I supposed to tell them? Go home? Get some rest? Is that the best I can do?
Surely that can help. Came in the mail this afternoon.
Catherine Drinker. Any relation to Cecil Drinker?
It's his wife, and she's a respected industrial hygienist in her own right.
Have we already seen this before?
You've only seen the first page. This is the full thing. Mrs. Drinker was particularly disturbed to read the part in the ledger where it states Arthur Reeder clears the company.
They doctored this report.
Reeder pulled out a single page listing the blood conditions of the healthiest employees, and they listed it as the whole thing. Doesn't look so bad by itself, does it?
We can use this.
That will impress the judge.
Miss Wiley, we're not gonna wait 3 months. Call your friends in the New York World. If Mr. Reeder won't let us present our evidence in court, he'll read about it in the newspaper.
If I could just hold your charms again in my arms, then life would be complete. Since you've been gone, dear, life don't seem the same.
Very bad.
You didn't read it?
I make it a point not to read it these days.
Someone at the club actually said to me this morning, "Did your husband poison these women?" And I said, "Mrs. Middleton, if you think that's true, why would you associate with me?"
I mean, what do you want me to say, Diane? I knew we were poisoning these women, but I didn't want to stop because we were making too much money?
But is it true?
Is that what you think?
Well, what do you want me to think?
For goodness sakes, Diane, that's Von Sasaki sending information to the Consumers League so they can railroad us.
Why would the Consumers League want to
It's a bunch of radical women, do-gooders, half of them socialists, probably Reds. It's the same thing with that club you belong to.
I can't, I'm sorry.
You're gonna stop going to that club.
Quit the club!
And you're gonna stop talking to that idiot, Mrs. Middleton.
You're
You don't
not
know what
making
you're talking
any
about.
sense!
None of those women know anything! You don't know anything!
Did you lie to the Department of Labor?
I had a fiduciary duty to the company.
I can't listen to this.
Diane, I have documents, articles, people with tumors the size of baseballs, radium therapy, the tumors disappear.
I'm tired and I'm going upstairs!
You can't really think I'm a liar, Diane. You can't really think I would set out to poison these people.
13 girls have died.
People die every day. People young, old, younger than Harriet die every day.
But they worked for you!
They didn't just work for me. I have a report from Columbia University, Frederick Flynn, who said that there's no correlation between the illnesses and our plant.
What could the cause be?
I don't know, Diane. I really don't know. Please say you believe me. If you don't believe me, then there's no point in anything.
Artie,
We save lives.
you save lives.
It's all for you. You know that? Everything I do. It always has been.
Arthur!
Please don't let that be another reporter.
Arthur!
What's wrong?
I just got off the phone with the ledger. It's Dan, Arthur. He's dead.
What are you talking about?
We just saw him last week.
He died this morning.
But Dan and Louise, they were just here.
They've already done the autopsy. A severe anemia. The ledger is running it on page 1.
They're blaming the radium.
I told them we would issue a statement by 8 o'clock.
Poor Louise. We should go see her. We should go see her right now.
I wouldn't do that.
Why not?
She's planning to sue.
Louise?
She's filing a wrongful death action. Now, I've worked up a statement for the paper. Dr. Daniel Lehman, company chemist for 8 years, always in poor health, recently in decline.
But Dan was never sickly. He was always on his golf course or sailing or in their garden. They kept a beautiful garden.
Charlie, let's leave this for the morning.
Of course. Sorry to bring you the bad news, Mrs. Reader.
Charlie can be a bit excessive at times.
You didn't have to explain.
We have to say something. The investors will expect it.
We're gonna get rid of this.
Diane,
We'll have no more of it in this house.
I'm too far in to quit.
And I really didn't expect you to.
I'll tell you what we should have done. We should have took that reporter up on her offer when we had the chance. That's what we should have done.
$5,000. Don't make me laugh.
And I'll tell you what, they'd have paid. And I'll tell you what else we should have done.
Stop telling me what we should have done.
All right, keep your shirt on.
What do you like? The red or the blue?
What's Barry say? Is he gonna go back to the company?
I like the red, but I don't fit so good these days.
Is he gonna try to talk to the company up a bit?
Miss Wiley says another interview will do the job. So I say, what's one more? And might as well look good, right?
It's worth a try, don't you think? If it came up to $5,000, would you take it then?
Let him come up. I'm not caving in.
It's called a settlement.
A settlement? Just another way for them to hide.
Let them hide.
And they win.
So they win! They're gonna win anyways.
You know what I found out today? They put LED screens in the laboratory for the technicians. Did they give us LED screens?
What are we doing here?
Would you think 100 girls in a room, they're gonna spend that kind of money on us? And Miss Wiley says they're gonna close down here, move across the river.
What are we doing here? I thought the idea was you'd settle your debts, get a better doctor, and we move on with things.
Move on with things.
You're still wearing my ring.
Oh, Tommy.
Grace, listen. There's a house for sale in my brother's neighborhood. 2 rooms up, 2 rooms down. It's nothing much, but it's a start. It's already got the flowered wallpaper. And best part of all, it's only 3 blocks from the school.
What do we need with a school?
Plan ahead for once?
Tommy, what did you think was gonna happen after all this is over? Did you think everything will just go back to the way it was?
Well, why wouldn't it?
I gotta see the surgeon again.
Uh-huh.
Got some fluid.
Okay.
And then he says there'll be more.
So we'll deal with it when it comes.
And still more, and then more, and still more. Why can't you see that? How can you talk about buying a house and getting married and now they're nothing?
Grace, listen to me. I just want for us to be together right now. I want to come home to you as my wife, to my home. I'm too old to be living like this. This in-between life. Listen to me. I'll do whatever it is to make it easy for you. Grace, come on.
Should have done this a long time ago.
I don't want it.
Tommy, please.
No.
Don't make me say it.
No, you're not getting enough sleep. That's what it is.
Tommy.
Go get some sleep.
Tommy.
You get
Tommy.
some sleep. I'll be back to see you tomorrow.
Tommy, don't you do this to me. Tommy!
February 21st, 1928. To Mr. Raymond Berry, from Harrison Marland, medical examiner, Essex County. We've studied the remains of the deceased Amelia Maggia. The results are the following. Radioactive substances in the upper jaw, lower jaw, and lumbar vertebrae. No evidence of syphilis was found.
Bodies radioactive.
Bone of dead girl kicks off gamma rays.
Catherine Wiley Consumers League shows new evidence that company lied.
Dr. Joseph Neff, Newark dentist who has treated Amelia, has handed over portions of her jawbone. The x-ray shows the jaw still radioactive 5 years after this girl has died.
Will this force a settlement?
Will this make your case?
Make our case? No, this gentleman will make our case.
Last night, in the graphic exclusive,
Exclusive.
founder of Radium Corporation broke his long silence after this shocking announcement.
Radium is one of the most dangerous substances known to man.
Dr. Von Sashaki, is it true you assisted with the autopsy?
Ja. Und given my expertise in mild radium therapy, I was able to conclude that Miss Maggia consumed enough radiation to kill 10 people.
What does it say about the mild radium therapy?
Radium is responsible for the deaths of these women. It should be considered a most dangerous substance.
But do you agree with the doctor's prognosis that the radium girls only have a year to live?
From what I've seen, they will be lucky to live that long.
Girl of my dreams, I love you. Honest, I do. You are so...
Grace, wake up! It's almost 4 o'clock.
Ma?
Mr. Mark will be here any minute.
Did Miss Wiley come by?
Miss Wiley?
She was gonna stop by. They took Catherine back to the hospital last night. She dies. It's over.
Sweetheart, I'll tell you what. Once we get that check and we pay the bank and the doctor and the coalman, there'll still be plenty left for you and Tom. Till we get started.
Nothing to start, Ma.
Why do you have to be so hard on Tom? Can't you see he just can't face the thought of you not being with us?
I have to face it. Why can't he?
Do something with your hair, Grace.
$250,000. What would you do with $250,000, Miss Fryer? Why, I can't imagine. Ma, you didn't tell me you had mail. They just keep writing, don't they? She was here. Ma, Miss Wiley was here and she left me a note.
Miss Fryer. Edward Markley?
Ma said you brought some papers.
Yes. Term spelled out. $5,000 to you. I've got the check right here. All we need is your signature.
This is a confidential settlement.
That's right.
Grace, Mr. Markley's a busy man.
Mr. Markley, what's contributory negligence?
Not sure I understand.
That's what you said in court. Contributory negligence means it's our fault, don't it?
Maybe you could just leave the papers, Mr. Markey.
Maybe he could just answer the question.
Why are you doing this?
Why didn't you tell me Miss Wiley was here?
She'd only try and talk you out of it.
What did she say about Catherine?
If you'll just leave the papers...
What did she say about Catherine?
She said it don't look good.
Perhaps I should come back later.
You didn't answer my question, Mr. Markley. And I'd really like an answer. Because let me tell you, at your factory, they told us what to do and how to do it. I didn't make trouble. I wasn't raised that way, so I did what I was told. How do you get contributory negligence out of that?
We're sorry for your loss, Miss Fryer, but there is no evidence to tie your condition or anything to the U.S. Radium Corporation.
Then why are you giving me this money?
It's a humanitarian gesture.
A humanitarian gesture. Month after month, you put us off, delay after delay, knowing how sick we were, how tired, how desperate. Humanitarian? You were waiting for us to die.
This is a generous offer, and I advise you take it, or we'll be forced to withdraw it permanently.
You're just trying to bully me.
Very well then. I'll see you in courts.
Yes, you will. You will see me if they have to carry me in their feet first.
You call that man back!
I'm going to court, Ma.
You know you can't win.
I don't care. I want those people to look at me and explain how it's my fault. I got sick, working their factory.
And what good will that do you?
Ma, all my life, I done what other people told me to do. I never said, please, can't I finish school? I never said I didn't like the taste of paint, even though I knew, Ma. I knew something wasn't right. At night, I'd lie in bed and see my dress on the closet door, all aglow. My shoes on the floor, my hairbrush on the dresser. So much light, Ma. So much light. And I never once questioned. I never once asked. Don't you see? They knew I wouldn't. That's what they were counting on.
I left messages with your housekeeper. I know you read the messages.
Yes, we are no longer in business together. I thought it best not to respond.
So is that what this is about? Getting revenge?
Revenge.
Losing the company? Losing your business? Now you're getting us back for it? By spreading lies about us?
Perhaps a cup of tea will settle your nerves.
You never said a word about the paint. You never said a word about it. Not to me, not to Dan.
I didn't know.
You didn't know? You invented the paint and you didn't know? How could you lie like that?
I said I didn't know until it was too late, Arthur.
I wasn't the technical man. You were the technical man.
Yeah, I was the technical man.
I sold watches. I was a salesman.
And a good one at that, Arthur. Always, always you had such a great head for the business. Not so much for the science. You could always cut the cost without losing the quality. That is a gift, Arthur. So why don't you have some tea?
What's wrong with your hands? Dipping them in ink?
Dipping them in ink. How fond of the pretty story you are. No. Dr. Martland says it's in the necrosis of the tissue. The cells, they are dying. And with the girls in the George starts, with me in the hands.
I had no idea.
It's been a long time since we've seen each other.
How long?
The necrosis about 3 months, but I've known. Miss Wiley from the Consumers League asked me to assist her in conducting radium exposure tests on the girls. And she came to me knowing, obviously, I had the tools and, of course, the experience. And I wanted to prove her wrong, Arthur. I didn't want to believe the girls could get sick from working with our paints. I wanted to prove to her that it was a mistake. So Dr. Martland and I conducted expired air tests on the girls, and it was when my own breath registered radioactive. Now you wish to have words with me?
I'm sorry.
Perhaps you should see Dr. Martland as well.
Me? What for?
You didn't notice the glowing dust on your shoes every night.
How could I miss it?
Well, you can be sure that a great deal of it is now in your lungs. Look familiar?
Our promotional piece.
An excellent one. Now, how many new sales did that book account for?
I'm not sure.
The last chapter, page 96. What does it say?
The last chapter. Radium. Dangerous effects.
Dangerous effects. How many articles are listed there? 10? 15?
About 18.
How far back do they go? The articles.
I'm not sure.
The last one. Read it. What is its date?
1906.
1906. Now, let me see. When you go to court, you plan to testify that you did not know radium was dangerous. How? How can that be, Arthur? When your own book says that it was.
I never read the book.
How's that?
Girl of my dreams, I love you. Honest, I do. You are so sweet. If I could just hold your toys again in my arms, then life would be complete. Since you've been gone, dear.
I just glanced at the galleys. I never read the book.
How do you mean you never read the book, Mr. Barry?
It was sourced to an outside company. They were responsible for the content.
You authorized the publication. Your name is on the cover. Yet you claim you never read it?
I think you will find, Mr. Barry, that very few company presidents ever read their own promotional material.
You testified that you started at the U.S. Radium Corporation in 1906, correct?
Yes, as a plant manager.
And you held that position for how long?
4 years.
4 years. So how many times do you think you went into the studio?
Every day?
Every day. Every day, you must have seen at least one girl put a brush to her lips.
I don't recall.
You went in there every day, yet you claim you never saw anything?
I said I don't recall.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Your witness, Mr. Markley.
No questions for this
All
witness,
right.
Your Honor.
Gentlemen, please approach. I'm ready to issue my ruling.
We have yet to present our defense.
I realize that, Mr. Markley, but this proceeding is to determine standing, and I've heard enough these past 2 days to make that determination. The radium in the bones of these girls is an ongoing source of poison, and nothing your witness can say will change that fact. In the interest of justice, I'm asking that your defense rest without calling any more witnesses. We can conclude this hearing today and schedule a case for trial.
All right, Your Honor.
I therefore conclude that the statute of limitations has not been exhausted, and these girls are standing to sue.
Your Honor, one thing, I have a very full schedule with 2 other cases pending, and a key witness will not be available until the end of summer. We can't be available till September.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, my client is associated with an institution of higher learning. This is the busiest time of year for him, and I cannot expect him to appear.
Your Honor, Mr. is responsible for these countless delays.
Your Honor, sure you will not let us make trial without the presence of my key witness.
Fine. We'll schedule a trial for September. This hearing is adjourned.
Edward, why can't Flynn appear?
He's going to Europe.
Europe? But he's known about this for months. How could he? Oh, clever. How long do you plan to keep this up?
As long as necessary.
That woman over there. She's staring at me. How do I make her understand I didn't want any of this to happen?
You don't. You don't make her understand. You don't even talk to her.
She looks like death.
They all look like death.
Grace, that man, Miss Wiley, he wouldn't look at me. He would never look at me.
It doesn't matter, Grace. He heard you.
Then life would be complete. Since you've been gone, dear, life don't seem the same. Please come back again. And after all said and done, there's only one girl of my dreams, it's you.
How many were there?
Hundreds worked for us. Dozens died.
And they won their case?
$10,000 for each girl, plus medical bills for life, which wasn't at all a lot for most of them.
Oh, Papa.
This is where she sat. One of the fastest girls on the floor. In the courtroom that day, I had a chance to speak with her.
And what did you say?
I didn't speak to her.
He was afraid to speak.
I had the opportunity, and I couldn't speak to her.
That man was afraid of me.
How could I have told her I didn't want any of this to happen? I had a responsibility to my investors.
It wasn't your fault. Science just wasn't as advanced back then, like the way it is now.
I think back on those days. Coming up the stairs into this chalk-filled room, all these girls, schoolgirls, really, their delicate little hands bent to the task, their hands running from the paint to the dials, the paint to the dials, to their lips, Try as I might, Harriet, try as I might, I cannot remember their faces. I never saw their faces.
The end has come, my heart is numb, but like a ball slung up blue above. I can't believe it, but you are gone, darling, and here lies love. The sky is dark, I hear a lark, he sounds as sad as a morn.